Hi guys, Professor Yerby here. This week I'm not going to have any lecture videos as of right now. It may change, so when you're viewing this, maybe you've already viewed one. But the author of the text provided a pretty lengthy and thorough coverage of the chapter material and everything that's important. Instead, what I want to focus on is some generals for the assignment that you may see for this learning module. All right. So one of the assignments may have you creating something called an attack tree. So in this module, we focused on application, data, and host security, which included physical security, security of the actual systems. So quick example of an attack tree here, just Googling. So here's one where the goal is to open a safe, and so different possible attacks are they could pick the lock, and then you can see these I's and P's are this is improbable and this is probable, right? So maybe the skills that you currently have or the time that you have to open the safe, picking the lock's not feasible. You can learn the combination. You can cut open the safe, which probably not going to work. Maybe if you're working as part of the install crew, you could install it incorrectly, right? You could find the combination written down somewhere, or get the combination from the target. So, Mr. McDuck could get the combination from him, figure out where he keeps his lucky dime, and then get the money, right? So that's something you may see for an attack tree. So an attack tree is a useful skill for you to use as a security professional to understand the different types of threats of where they could come from and what they could be targeting so that you can put in safeguards to protect against these types of attacks. Okay. The next thing you may see on this assignment in this learning module is to create a set of physical security. All right. So I think this one's pretty self-explanatory, but in the example that I may be asking for, I think I'm asking for some over-the-top security. So I don't want to give too many examples because I want you to be creative, and this is kind of a really fun one, but maybe you want to have some sort of, let's see what pops up here. So here's some not over the top one. So have fences around the building, and then you have parking gates. Maybe you have some guards out here, and there's only certain ways to get in. Some manual access controls. Traffic flow can only go certain ways, and have different things to be able to allow you access to the assets, right? So in the example I'm going to be asking you for is to give me some extreme things. So maybe instead of just having lighting in the parking lot, maybe the place is surrounded by a moat with alligators in it or something. So again, it's the idea of physical security, and all the different layers of security are there. You just get to have fun and give me some strange examples. All right. Next thing you may encounter are ways to handle risk. So we've previously covered ways to handle risk. So you can kind of accept it, you can mitigate it, you can transfer it, things like that. Let's see. Another assignment you may see in this learning module is to find products out there that are designed to eradicate your network or block spam, right? So there are lots of things out there that want to sell you something, which is what we want for this, right? For this assignment. So here's something from a company called GFI Network. So they wrote a white paper. White papers are technical, short papers about usually some statistics, some data, and how someone has implemented a product. A lot of these are sponsored. So you'll see this one's sponsored right here by GFI. So is it GFI? Yeah, sponsored by GFI. So we will see that, hey, using this GFI technology, you're able to block this much spam, and then they'll go through and they'll kind of give you a brief overview of how they did it. Another one you may be asked to look into for this chapter is an organization called OWASP. All right, so in the past, when computing came of age, the big focus was on getting things to work. And then as things have evolved, our focus is, hey, we need to go back and fix all that stuff and make it secure. Right, so OWASP is the Open Web Application Security Project. It's kind of a community of people who want to make applications more secure. So the best practice of doing things now is when you're building something, don't build it just for functionality. Also keep security in mind so that you don't have to go fix it later. Building something first at the beginning may take additional time, additional money, but it saves you all of that hassle, pain, breaches, loss of data on having to go back and fix something. All right. Another one may ask you to do something with port scanners. But there's software out there and there's hardware out there to go out there and kind of discover what ports are open, which protocols are open on your network. And this is a useful activity, again, to know what risk you have, what threats are out there, what vulnerabilities or potential vulnerabilities, to make sure that you have the things open that you should have open, maybe like web traffic and secure communication, and that you do not have open something else. A lot of times we're installing software or we're trying to get something to work, and we go ahead and make exceptions because, hey, I really need to get this one program to work. So sure, I'll turn off the firewall and I'll make an exception here and I'll block this and I'll open that, and we got the program to work. Then you need to take the time to go back and close all of the things that should not be open. And that last part about going back and closing everything is not always done because technicians are typically putting out fires, figuratively, not literally, and they get the problem fixed, and then they got another problem to go run to. They typically, it's been a problem for them to take the time and to stop and collaborate and listen. Right? Next thing may have you compare penetration testing to vulnerability test scanning. Again, I don't want to give away too much information here because I really want this to be something that you complete. But the first gist of it gets you in the right direction. Pen testing is typically coming from the outside, and vulnerability scanning is typically coming from inside the network. So the call is coming from inside the house, right? And then the last thing that you may see in this learning module is looking at a security posture. So this is an interesting term that's been around for quite a while, and it was something that was just a information security term that people really didn't say, but it was just like, okay, if I take a certification exam, you may see the word security posture. But strangely enough, this has become something that is starting to be used more often. So typically some kind of technical word is invented, and then it kind of either takes off and it's a big buzzword for a while, or it doesn't catch hold and then it withers away and goes away, never to be seen again. This guy withered away and then came back. So now you'll start to see more CISOs, Chief Information Security Officers, talk about their security posture and how they're poised and ready for different types of security threats and the attitude of their company and things like that. All right. So that is all for what you may encounter, some of what you may encounter for this learning module. Thank you. Have a great day.